Hello everyone. Let's study about a wave. To define a wave, we can say that a wave is a disturbance that propagates in space, transports energy and momentum from one point to another without transport of matter. In case of a wave, what happens is that from a given point, if at a given point, say A, if a disturbance is produced, for example, think of a water surface and suppose something falls onto the water surface. Example, think a small pebble falls on the water surface. Now this pebble would create a disturbance, and this disturbance propagates in space, because of which there is transport of energy and momentum from one point to another point. If at this point, say at the point O, if a disturbance is produced, then energy and momentum transports in all directions. If we take some point here, a point P, then to the point P, energy and momentum is transported. But in case of waves, the particles actually do not move. So the matter is not transported. Rather, what is transported or what is carried forward is only energy of the wave and momentum in the waves. So waves is very important because many phenomena around us happen because of waves only. Keep in mind here that the waves what we are discussing here is not the similar waves what we think of on ocean surface, because the underlying principle in case of waves on ocean surface is slightly different than the wave what discussed here. So we will not go into that domain of waves on ocean surface. Rather, we stick to the waves in physics point of view only, because in case of waves on ocean surface there is some amount of mass transfer also. So it is not about waves on the ocean surface, rather it is waves which are produced, example, on water surface in a lake, or like strings in a guitar, or like a flute. It is about those common kind of waves. Also, let's study about a progressive wave, because in this chapter it's mostly only about progressive wave, and the second part of the chapter is about stationary waves. So until we reach stationary waves, what we study would be only progressive waves. To define a progressive wave, we can say that a progressive wave is a wave that travels from a source, any source, into a medium and never returns to the origin or to the source, is called as a progressive wave. For example, let's take a case where we have a source of bulb. Now this bulb gives out light in all direction. The light from here goes in all direction, goes like this, it goes in all directions. So the energy or the momentum leaves the source and goes in some direction. It never comes back to the same source. Such waves called as progressive waves. For example, the waves or energy from the sun comes in the form of a progressive wave, and also in case of bulbs also it is mostly a progressive wave only. And instead of this, think of a case where there is a guitar string. Think of the two ends of a guitar string, and suppose somewhere the guitar is plugged. We cause a disturbance in the guitar string. In this case, suppose at this end if we cause a disturbance, even here waves are produced. But in this case, the waves travel to this end, it would reflect and it would come back. So in this case, what we get is not a progressive wave, rather what we get is something called as stationary waves. Whenever we have something to reflect the waves, could be a wall, could be anything else, when the wave returns, then they superimpose, producing stationary waves. But if the waves don't come back, if the energy or momentum travels only in one direction, Those are called as progressive